Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table Podcast, the virtual table where we discuss all things young adulting. My name is Fikayo and thank you so much for having me back in your ears. Today is another special episode as we are brought with Miss Joyce, aka Miss Congo of USA, or you Miss USA Congo. How do you say it?
Congo USA. You were right the first time.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Joyce. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I am so appreciative.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
No. Let's get into it. And usually one of the very first questions I ask people who specifically know me and that are in my life is, how did we meet?
Oh, how did we meet? Okay. So we went to the same church for like years now.
Mm-hmm.
But you also went, but the way you graduated is
Yeah.
when I came in.
Yeah.
But I know you because of church.
Oh.
And I've been really close, really close with Maiwa over the years, especially with, dancing and things like that. So I just remember coming to your house and then like finally meet, I think it was one day we were having practice, but practice was at y'all's house, like your old house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, your old house up there. I just remember meeting you. Yeah. I can't really put my finger on it. But ever since then, I've always seen you, always been around you, and we've just gotten close over the years. So.
Yes. Yeah. So I know Joyce. I usually ask that question because whenever I hear people on podcasts and they bring like their family and stuff or people that they know, I'm always like, okay, but like, where did y'all's paths intersect? Like, how?
Right.
So that's why I like to do that segment. Now, another segment that I have is if you could explain yourself in one sentence, what would it be?
Wow. Not even a word, but a sentence.
A sentence, yeah.
Okay. I would say, I would say, I would describe myself as a star with grace.
That is beautiful. Can you explain it?
Would say a star because I feel like I have this light. No, I know. I have a light in me.
Uh-huh.
People tell me like when I go into a room, like I just walk and I just light it up. Or
Mm-hmm.
like, my smile and then my character, my personality, like I'm goofy. Sometimes it's not even about like me being motivational or inspirational, but just going in and having a laugh with somebody else. I probably just
Mm-hmm.
needed it that day. Like, I'm just that bright person. So I would say a star. And I would say with grace because it's only the grace of God that I'm here every single day.
Uh-huh.
And I move with his grace.
That's amazing. I was literally just about to ask you, like, where do you think that star came from? Where do you think that energy comes from? But I think you answered it. But if you could explain that again.
Oh, it definitely comes from God.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like being brought into this world, it was just in me. It was something I never had to force, something I never had to learn or pick up or fake. So it's definitely naturally brought from God.
Yeah. And Joyce, you do so many different things. We'll talk about it later, but do you think that you're doing things to also help brighten your star? Or you just think like you were born with it, you had it, but like, are you actively doing things now that are helping that? I wonder.
I can definitely say that what I do, what I'm involved in, it brightens it. Like it's as much as I feed back to other people and like pour out to other people, it pours into me as well.
Ah, beautiful.
Like community service, whenever I'm involved, when I'm hosting events, when I'm engaging with people, talking, all those things that I like it pours back into me. It helps me grow not only as a leader, but personally as myself for Joyce. Like it's something that pours back into me, giving out.
I love that. One of my big like spark words is leadership. And I think leadership is amazing because not only are you rising people up to a standard, but you have to hold yourself up to that standard too. So I'm so happy that even in what you're doing already, that you're already trying to figure out and learn leadership because I was much older when I was like, okay, I want to be a leader and I'm going to hold myself to that standard as well so that I can lead. That's amazing, Joyce. Very well
Thank
done.
you.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Okay, so next question is, okay, so these are our two main segments, and these are the questions that I ask or I answer every week myself. So when I have guests on here, I like y'all to answer. So the first one is, how have you been praying? But people usually answer like, oh, I've been praying on my knees or something. No, no, no. Just tell us like, what have you been praying about? How has your prayer, like, what has that been looking like? As much as you can feel comfortable sharing, of course.
Definitely. And I'm gonna keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
Like my prayer, me and God's relationship is so much like a friend.
Yeah?
Like, because that's the relationship I know. Like, I know people say
Mm-hmm.
God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, but my relationship with God is a friend. So when I'm talking to God, realistically, like I have my JBLs, my headphones. I'm walking to class. I'm playing gospel music in my ears. I can
Yeah.
stop and just talk. Like
Yeah.
it's literally prayer is literally a conversation. I talk to God like God. Please tell me why I just got up and somebody's already trying with me. Like God, really
Mm-hmm.
just help me not go off right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's literally my thing.
Mm-hmm.
For God, like I'm going to this class and I'm tired, but I really just need your strength. God, just please help me. That like I talk to God almost as I'm on the phone with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, like I try to have my headphones and keep them in and still walk because if not, people will just think I'm talking to my
I used to do that all the time.
no, people will think I'm talking to myself. Because I'm walking and
Yeah.
talking and moving around the campus.
Yeah.
So it's literally a conversation. And yes, I have those moments where I worship and I'm
Mm-hmm.
in my room and I'm crying out and I'm spending some worship time as well. But I also have a lot, like I promise you, 90%
Mm-hmm.
of my prayers are just talking, communication,
Yeah.
just in random areas when I'm doing all my leadership things, when I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, when I'm in a
Yep.
cast, when I'm going to class.
That's amazing. Yeah. So even with this podcast, I was explaining to Dami last podcast or 3 podcasts ago that literally with this podcast, I want to show that you can be a Christian outside of like regular Christian spaces, outside of church, and there's so many people who are Christians and have this beautiful relationship with God that don't exist inside the church. So I love that you say that because there is somebody listening right now who is probably beating themselves up because they're like, I don't like sit and speak in tongues for 7 hours and I'm doing a horrible job. But sometimes it literally is as casual or building a relationship with God is literally as casual as walking to class and talking to him and using
Yes.
him to like monitor what you're doing and your everything, like your actions and everything. That is amazing. That was beautiful, Joyce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next question now is, what are you snacking on? And essentially it is, what are the current happenings in your mind? Like what comes top of mind to you? What are you snacking on? What's going on?
Oh, like what's going on? Kind of
Uh-huh.
like what am I involved in or like doing right now?
Anything you feel like you want to share with us. It could be anything. What are you snacking on? What's going
Okay,
on?
cute. What am I? Okay, so right now, what I can say is I'm getting ready for move outs and to go back home. That is on my
Mm-hmm.
mind. I have my residence. I am an RA, residential assistant, in
Period.
Maida B. Jenkins Hall here at DSU.
Yes, ma'am.
And lately, what's been on my mind is actually my residents, like trying to spend some time with them and
Oh.
bonding before leaving for the break. So when we come back, we can, catch back up again. But my residents are on my mind heavily. And the more they are, the more I try to pray for them and just speak out, like affirmations, like good words over them. But lately they have been on my mind. I'm getting ready to go back home. So they have to move out and everything like that. And my mind is literally on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Like that whole weekend, like I'm ready for it. So I could say that's been on my mind.
Yes. Yes, yes. It's so crazy how we're in November, isn't it?
It is. Time is
Insane.
flying. The fall semester is literally almost
Mm-hmm.
over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And oh my goodness, well done again. Like, I love that you're just doing leadership so young. And not only are you doing leadership, but you actually care about the people that you're leading. And yeah, today it's going to be an RA or your students or your residents, but tomorrow it might be like a multi-million dollar company, your employees at a multi-million dollar company. So that is amazing. Okay. Okay. Now that we've gotten through the segments, now we can go into some questions. And Joyce, you are a busy woman. You are a busy woman. You do. And
Man.
miss and put in anything that I miss, but Army JROTC, PLT ambassador, Delaware State Miss Freshman. You're a full-time student. You're also an RA, as you've mentioned, and Miss Congo USA. Oh my goodness. Did I miss anything? No, toot your own horn.
You went over basically like kind of everything. RA, RTC, National Guard. I also serve on the campus activities board, the recording secretary, and it's an umbrella. Yeah, and I'm in student organizations as well, but yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Joyce, first off, what is one achievement that you're the most proud of?
Oh, that has to be such a great question. Because everything has a certain feel to it when you achieve something. And
Right.
through everything that I've achieved, I've gone through a different thing. I can't say one. Okay, I will say two, and I'm gonna break it up into two different reasons. Can I
Okay.
say that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm most proud of one, I could say, winning Miss Freshman. Winning Miss Freshman of Delaware State University for the 2022-2023 academic year had to be one of the most uncomfortable week I've ever had in my life.
Hold on. Why?
Winning it? Okay, the week of winning it. Like when I won it, I was like amazing. But that week running for it had to be one of the most uncomfortable. That's why I'm so proud that I achieved it, because I had to finally put myself out there for people to have an opinion on me. I had to run a campaign. I had to learn what that was. I had to make my flyer. I spent nights editing. And this is the first time I'm ever doing something like this. I've never ran for something. I've never put myself in those shoes for people to look at me and have an opinion of me to vote. I was nervous. I was shaking in my boots, but I had so much fun doing it as well. I found the beauty in public speaking, and I wrote a good speech for the very first time and presented it. It was all about the first. That's why I'm so proud of it, because it was my first. That's where it started.
Right.
And that was the only thing that I needed to set a fire under me to keep going.
Oh my God, Joyce, hold on. You just said something so beautiful. But people literally say, like, if you don't shoot your shot, you'll never know if you made it or whatever. And sometimes, like, you're right. It is that first. Like, you cannot get to 100 if you do not do one. I really want people to hear that. Really, I really want people to hear that. That was amazing. Okay, continue, please.
Yes, so it was really that one that set the fire under me to keep going. So I have to go back to that and say that I'm so proud of taking the courage, because it was hard. I was like, there were people like already here kind of making the name for themselves prior to. I feel like I was coming in like, you don't know you are coming in as a freshman. You don't know anybody. And you had to convince your entire class and even the other other classifications at the university to vote for you. And that was something that was scary.
Wow.
But I'm just glad that I did it. And I had people, and I thank God for the people that I had in my ear and the people that I met over the summer that encouraged me to do it. But I have to go back to that as being my first and like most proud of. But as far as recently, yes, being the newly elected Miss Congo USA and really just being the face of my country. I just didn't, I do understand, but it just blows my mind every time to know that like I am actually a representative both in Africa and both in the United States of America for my country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and making my family proud and continuing the legacy that my mom and my grandma had thought out for me. Like they wanted, as immigrants leaving Congo, they wanted to come here And even when they, have the kids and all that stuff like that, like continuing that legacy, like having learned the language and everything like that. I'm the first generation. So for me to just continue the legacy of knowing the languages, being invested in the culture, and now even exceeding what they even thought of in their mind, and being now the leader of that country. So I'm just so grateful. I'm just so, so, so grateful. That has to be one of the biggest accomplishments. Like a country is crazy, but I'm
Amazing.
blessed for that.
Amazing. So I just wonder, how do you occupy all of these spaces and manage stress?
That's a great question. I plan.
Mm-hmm.
I my planner is literally my best friend.
Yeah.
And I say that heavily. Like, I'm gonna say it again. Planner is my best friend. If people are like, oh, that probably is like maybe sounds cliche, or like, oh yeah, like using an agenda or whatever, but it actually really helps. And knowing that I'm in all these organizations, leadership positions, whatever, I make sure I write out everything.
Yeah.
And there's like group chats for every like org that I'm in. And I even just got newly inducted into Educated Ladies Igniting True Essence yesterday. So that's another one on the list. But
Amazing.
I, sorry?
I said amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So proud.
Thank you. And I just make sure I write everything out. I make sure I take time for myself
Mm-hmm.
and self care. And I tap into a new self care routine, and that's going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I usually go sometime once in a while, but I've been trying to go more. And I know whenever I get stressed or like it's just too much in my day, I go for a run. And the run helps me mentally, because it's just something about running it out and
Yeah.
just letting it go
Yeah.
off you as the wind is blowing as you run. So that helps me. And it also helps with army, because in the army you run, and that's just one of the like heaviest things you do. So it helps me both ways. Practicing self-care, taking time for yourself, knowing how to say no, because you
Yeah.
can't say yes to everything. That is like another way you can burn yourself out without the positions. Just
Mm-hmm.
simply saying yes to everything, you can burn yourself out. So, and listening to my body, listening to my body when it's like too tired, or like when I was too overwhelmed, like being able to listen,
Mm-hmm.
and taking that time out for yourself. So.
Yeah. What great tips. And that is literally what you just did is literally why I made this podcast. I want people to hear their like representation, especially African young people, hear representations of themselves that are doing great things, and then hear how they're doing it. And Joyce is doing it through planning, through exercising, through taking care of herself, through prioritizing herself, through saying no. And these are all things I think that in order for you to be a successful adult and like literally be that light that you're talking about, these are just some of the tools that really do help you and help propel you to that extent. So I really love that you mentioned that, Joyce. That was amazing. I know that there is a Joyce right now listening to this, and she's like, okay, Joyce is doing this, so I'm going to do this too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So I'm also wondering, how do I word this? I'm also wondering, what is the importance of people?
The importance of
Uh-huh.
people.
Because, there's I feel like growing up, people are always like, I don't like people. I don't like people. I don't like people. But I think that now that I'm growing up, I'm realizing people are so important. One. And also, first off, there's different kind of people, that there's good people and there's bad people. You just need to figure out who's who and how you want to navigate. And you mentioned that earlier as well, that it was people who motivated you and things like that to help you get to where you were. So explain that relationship you have and explain that to someone who's like, I don't want to know people. I don't want to talk to people. I just want to be by myself. No, no, no. Like you understand?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
People are important, like the crowd you hang around, or even the people that you consider to be like in your circle. The people that are around you are important because they can either motivate you or they can either put you down.
Yeah.
And it's important to differentiate when, like, it's important, of course, to differentiate who is who, but it's also important to know when you should rely on people and when you should rely on yourself as
Mm-hmm.
well. I will definitely say that having like that good circle that can motivate you, having that good circle that can support you is so, so, so important. Even if it's just three, even if it's just two, it doesn't have to be a multitude. It doesn't have to be 10. It doesn't have to be like a crowd, but just people that can be your backbone, like
Yeah.
people that can lift you up, that can pray for you when you cannot pray for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
people who you can vent to. Like, it's not everything that you do in this life that you have to be by yourself and alone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
some things, okay, some decisions you have to make on your own, so by yourself, but especially when you want to try something new, like motivation, you need motivation in life, okay?
Yeah.
And you need some people that can, like, when you're feeling lazy or whatever, that can put you in check. Like, no, like, Joyce, you need to get up. No, Joyce, you can do it. Like, why are you second guessing? People that see that potential in you and that can remind you of it when you don't see it in yourself. It's important because when you don't have that crowd around you, like, and you're like alone in solitude, like, it gets like, it almost feels as if you're disintegrating. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not good for your spirit when
Yeah.
you're alone. Like, even God created Adam and Eve, like, because he knew that one needed the other, like,
Right.
for a reason. We
Right.
have all these people in this world, a billion, over a billion, trillion. I don't even know the numbers. It's so many people in this world. And you need to, like, I would also suggest, like, reaching out and talking to new people as well. Like, I be
Mm-hmm.
on the laptop,
Mm-hmm.
but even just reaching out and talking to new people as well, or the crowd that you're not really always around that you see a lot of times, especially on college campuses. Faces that I see a lot and that I probably don't really speak to, just reaching out and creating a new bond or creating a new like phase, touching into a phase, like just being social. Like, I just love being social, and I think that's also a really good thing as well.
Yeah.
So
I was literally just about to go into that. That was my next question for you because you are an out of state student. And I know, girl, I know how hard it is to be an out of state student and going to a school where you know no one. So to see how far you've expanded, I'm just wondering, like, what advice would you give that student who doesn't have any friends or who is trying to figure out how to make friends but literally does not know how?
the advice I would definitely say, like Nike, just do it.
Period.
That's all. Like, that's literally where it starts.
Yeah.
Like Nike, literally just do it.
Yeah.
I was literally in this. I was like, as a freshman coming in, not knowing anybody, not knowing what. I literally knew no people. Nobody from my high school graduated and went to Delaware State. I was the only one from my high school on Delaware State. I knew literally nobody else. And I was coming in with no friends, no anything, just a student. And you literally have to just open your mouth and say hi.
Yeah.
It really just starts off with a hi. And you carry on from there, like, hi, like, where are you from? Oh, you're interested in this, like, I like this too.
Mhm.
Find that common goal. Everybody has something in common, whether it's one thing, it can be a lot more than just one, but everybody has something in common. And it's all about just taking that step of action and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And yes, it's scary, but the thing is that when you're in that uncomfortable position, you grow. So then it won't be uncomfortable anymore.
Oh, that's a word. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I'm so sorry. Go
And then
ahead.
you won't get it's okay. And then you won't get uncomfortable anymore. So the more you're putting yourself in that uncomfortable position, you'll start to be comfortable in there. And then
Mm-hmm.
through there, you can grow to put yourself in another uncomfortable position. And then when you look back, 3 steps ago, you were uncomfortable, but you can see the progression you've made over time. You have to just put yourself out there. Take that first step. It's okay. And you might not get it. You might not, your first hire, your first interaction might not be your best friend ever, but the more you do it, the more you'll get better at it. Reach out, and even if it's not just saying like hi to people, also getting yourself involved with organizations.
Yep.
Like through organizations alone, you can create bonds. Like get involved, join that female org, male org, community service org. Come to events as well. Like the stuff that they have in your school, especially during freshman week, because that's when a lot of people start mingling anyway. The freshman week, like don't stay in your dorm, like get outside. Like that's other ways to like, be social as well. That's just verbally say hi or intentionally say hi. But
Wow.
putting yourself in those spaces can also get you in the room. Yeah.
Joyce, you are full of so much wisdom. And it's wisdom that I wish I had because even now in my grown age, I'm still struggling with how to make friends. And like just hearing that you have this down pat. If I had this down pat when I was your age, girl, oh my
Girl.
goodness. So, that is such great advice. It is you hit it out the ballpark. It's like you've been listening to some motivational speeches. Cause yeah, that's what everybody that's successful says. Literally everything that you've said. Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So, another question is, so everything that you do requires confidence. And I personally am struggling with confidence. So, give us some advice, give us some tips. Like, how do you do everything so confidently?
Yeah. It has you need to know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay? Like it comes from God. You need to know who you are. Like that the verse I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
Mm-hmm.
If you break like I am wonderfully made, I don't have to have these negative things in my mind. At times, I would try to step out, and then you would get these like the words in your head, like, oh no, like, girl, you can't do that. You can't do this, but I'm wonderfully made.
Yeah.
Like, when you go back and you remember who you are, when you say these affirmations in the mirror, I do that as well. I I literally say affirmations in my mirror. I look at myself like, oh yes, I'm that girl.
Period.
Oh, that's like I'm beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love my eyes. I point out things of myself that I really just love and I continue to love on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to love on you. Like you actually need to. And confidence, like being able to get out there and publicly speak, like the more you are prepared for something, the more confident you're going to be in it. Like
Yes.
if you go into a situation and things unprepared, you're gonna feel like, oh yeah, I don't got this. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you
Yes.
know you got that speech and you wrote it and you took your time and you edited it and you practiced it and you did this and you did that, like you better go up there and say that speech. You better go
Right.
up there and own it. Like
Right.
get prepared and push away the negativity that could be in your mind. Like rebuke that. Like get that out of your mind. Get that out of your space. Go out there and own it. Like in every single room that you walk to, you walk up with your head held high. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't walk into rooms with my phone anymore because
Mm-hmm.
I immediately, like when I step through a door, I need to already feel like I own the room,
Yeah.
even just within myself.
Yeah.
So don't walk into that room on your phone. Don't walk into your room with that head down. Walk into the room, head held high, and scan the whole room. You'll even see people like look at you like, oh my God, so who's that girl? Like,
Mm-hmm.
who's that guy? Or that's whatever. Yeah, like you can walk into the room, head held high, and then you can probably sit down, then get on your phone. I'm not saying don't be on your phone, but the whole point is just walking into rooms and spaces feeling confident already, and it
Right.
will breathe throughout the whole time you're there.
Walking into rooms and places with that confidence already. That is amazing. Tell me why somebody in church actually just stopped me this Sunday and was like, Fikayo, every time you walk, because, I protocol, every time you walk up and down the aisles, you put your head down. Stop that. He was like, stop that. And it's a man. He was like, stop that. You are too good to be putting your head down and trying to shy away. Let everybody know that you're walking. Let everybody know that this is who you are. And now, like, at 23, I'm literally teaching myself, okay, no, because, people sometimes want to I want to not be seen. I'm shy, so I want to not be seen. I want to kind of hide myself in the corner of the room. He was like, that is not for you. That is where you're going, where you want to go. That's not how you need to operate. You need to hold your head up high. And I love that. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy, first off, that we're raising a generation that has this embedded in them. Like people are like, oh, but what's the next generation going to do? Da, da, da. But I think that if the next generation looks like you, Girl, we're fine. We are gonna be okay. Because look at what you're learning. And look at what you're gonna teach your kids. Everything that we've talked about, this is what you're gonna teach your kids. And they're gonna have this already embedded in them. So it's not something that somebody has to work to. They don't have to work for it because they already have it because their mom gave it to them. Amazing. Good job.
Yes. And
Well done. Well done. Okay, okay. But I do want to make sure I get some college advice from you. So maybe like your top one, if you have one, or three college advice.
college advice. I would definitely say one, get involved, get out your room. It's gonna make your college experience way, way better.
Mhm.
Doing school alone is great. You know, that's why we're here anyway. It's university. We're here for school. We're here for that anyway. But you can grow in another aspect that's not just sitting in a classroom, okay? You can grow in the aspect of leadership. You can grow in the aspect of even entrepreneurship.
Right.
Like perfecting your craft or whatever talent or hobby that you so love. I know people that not just do hair or nails or makeup, but they make rugs and sell it. They make art and sell it. Tapping into something, or even if it's tapping into a new thing and turning that into your profit, tap into that as well. It's, of course, I advocate for leadership as well, but if you can make money off of your craft or your
Yep.
skill, do it.
Yep.
Like,
You'll
be
never
that
be hungry. Yep.
literally be that entrepreneur in college, be that go-to, and that even gets you involved in more connections and stuff like that as well, and helps you grow socially as well through entrepreneurship. I will also say make sure you're balancing, like balance your schoolwork, balance the entrepreneurship, balance the leadership. Remember also why you are here as well. Make sure that GPA is GPAing, okay?
Yes.
Make sure you're meeting the requirements that you need for your scholarship. Heavy on that. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are here on scholarships and then they forget and stuff like that of the requirements. So make sure the GPA is GPAing.
Yeah. And Joyce is an expert on this. She just finished doing a college panel, a scholarship panel too. So Joyce knows what she's talking about.
Yes. So literally like know like, and also I can finally say to close out, know your why. Like that will help you continue to go, like keep going. Like you know why you applied, like you took the effort to apply, you took the effort to accept the college acceptance, and you took the effort to come down here on moving day. So there was a why behind it. Even if you feel like, oh no, I just came because my parents told me to, figure out your why, and that why will help you to keep going, and that why will motivate you and it will keep you through college. Not even just college, but know your why in your student leadership, and know your why in your entrepreneurship, and overall know your why for yourself. Why am I doing this for Joyce? Why am I doing this for ABC? Like that will definitely keep you going and motivated throughout your experience.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. We've been listening to the same thing. I promise you. Know your why. That is literally what I have literally would have been working on this entire year. My why. I really want to keep going and I really want to like keep picking at small things, but we got to keep going. Oh my gosh. Another thing I wanted to talk about really, really quickly, because I think that this is something different, is your JROTC experience. And I wanted to ask, like, what is the biggest lesson you've learned from Army JROTC?
Wow, that is a great question. um, First off, I'm very glad and honored to have the privilege to serve in
Mm.
the Army National Guard for Delaware, and having to balance that with ROTC life is like it works hand in hand. So it works hand in
Oh,
hand.
wait, I'm
But
sorry. So you're actually in the National Guard for Delaware?
yeah, I think that's what you meant.
Oh my gosh. No, first of all, wow. So you're doing both at the same time.
Yes, I'm in the Army National Guard for the
Wow.
state of Delaware, and then I'm in ROTC in school. But I did JROTC, yeah.
Wow. No. Actually, no, that's perfect. Both of it works. It works. But like, I thought that they were the same thing. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is amazing. Incredible. Well done. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Thank you. You're good. You're good. Yeah. Army has taught me so much about courage. Like, it
Hmm.
takes courage, guys, to do this, okay? The early and discipline.
Yeah.
It takes courage to put yourself out there. It takes courage when you're talking to your sergeants. It takes courage when you're talking to your drill sergeants. It takes courage to lead in the army aspect. It takes courage to lead in the army aspect. I can say as well as discipline. It taught me so much, like discipline, self-discipline to get up in the morning, to be on time. Like, you can't be, if you can be late for anything else, don't be late when it's army things, ROTC things. Push all the lateness, push all
Mm-hmm.
the slacking out the window. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you get out there, you're giving your 100% the entire time. You're moving literally with a purpose. They
Yeah.
tell us that all the time.
Ugh.
When you're moving with your battle buddy, with your squad, you are moving with a purpose. When you're in formation, you are moving with a purpose.
Yeah.
Even through that, when I'm telling you, remember when I said in the beginning how I pour out and it pours to me? I remember that when I move around my day, when I'm moving on campus and I'm not in formation or I'm not in my uniform, I'm moving with a purpose in my academics and my
Mm-hmm.
leadership. I'm moving with a purpose for Joyce, benefiting myself, pouring into me. So it pours right back into me. There's so many lessons in the army, but I definitely have to say, moving with a purpose. What did I say in the beginning? Discipline and courage. It takes courage to do this, y'all, but yeah.
I love that. I love that. You know, I did JROTC in Marine Corps, and I fought for that because, you know, at the school that we went to, it was a magnet. It's not no more though, but I didn't come into the school under that magnet. So I fought to get in because I just didn't know what it was. But when I got in, people were asking me like, are you crazy? Like, why would you actually put yourself in that? Like, it's basically torture. And
No, literally.
people don't understand. It's that like when you're talking to your drill sergeants and you're doing stuff, like, yeah, you have fear, but that fear does not matter. That fear does not matter. You need to kick it to the curb or you just need to rise above it. You just have to. That fear doesn't matter. Yeah, you're going to be trembling. You're going to be scared. You're going to be pissed when they do the fire marshal thing at 5 a.m., but you're going to get up and you're going to run and you're going to talk to them. So I just loved that, like, that constant fight with fear or with your insecurities or with the things that you don't want to do, that the army military, that they really, really advocate. Like, we don't care. We're going to expect that we know that you're scared. We know that you're tired. We know that you don't want to do it, but you're going to rise above. You sure will. And I'm finding that in life, to do well, you cannot succumb to your fear. You cannot succumb to your insecurities. That's the devil. That's me. That's what I think is the devil right there. Your fear, your insecurities, your lack of discipline. That is what I'm constantly fighting against. And I think that's what plagues our entire generation. So I love that, like, I really wanted to make sure that we talked about that because I feel like from maybe those lessons that you're learning in JROTC, I like how I'm seeing it being applied in different places in your life as well.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Heavy. That's why I think when I originally came to college, I wasn't joining the ROTC program. But God was guiding,
Right.
and He
As he
ate that one thing
does.
up in spring. Okay, in spring. No, literally, as He does, He knew what He was doing,
Yeah.
and He put the path for me in spring, and everything just came together. And God knows why. Like, I need ROTC as
Yeah.
much as it might take a lot of my time. Early mornings, it's like God knew that was something I needed to keep me going and to become stronger
Mm-hmm.
mentally, physically. So I'm so
Beautiful.
happy about it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. We are coming down to our last two questions. And this one is, what advice would you give to your high school self? What did she need to hear? What would you say?
Oh man. Oh man. I wish I could literally like just hug
Yeah.
my high school self. Like, I wish I literally could have that opportunity. My high school self, I would definitely have to say, like, if I were to compensate with that voice, I would say, like, keep your head and, like, better days are soon, so definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like my high school years, I was involved and I was doing a lot of different things, but I also did spend a lot of time beating myself up over certain things. Like, I beat myself up a lot in high school. I also would say, like, I dealt a lot, like, that's when anxiety, like, was so, like, prevalent throughout my high school years. Like, oh my goodness, I would do a lot of things to my high school self.
Yeah.
But my high school years, like, that was when yeah, that's when it all really settled in, like,
Mm-hmm.
right for
Mm-hmm.
me. And like, you're literally in that stage where, like, you're still premature. Like, you're still growing, like, your mind, your body, what you like, what you don't like really learning more about yourself. And I feel like I spent a lot of my times beating myself up about it when I should have gave myself more grace.
Yep.
That's why I said us. I realized and identify myself going back to what you said, a start with grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I intentionally try to remember that I do have a grace and
Yeah.
I don't beat myself up a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why I would tell my high school self, like, keep your head. Better days are soon to come, and you have more in yourself than what you think. I
Yep.
did not think I was kicked, y'all. If somebody told me my freshman year of high school, even my senior year, actually, if somebody would have told me I would have been doing X, Y, and Z that I do right now, I would look at you like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been like, what? Me? Oh no, I can't do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this? Oh no, that's not me. You might talk about another person. Because realistically, I wasn't even in that headspace my senior year
Mm-hmm.
of high school, like, like, that confident enough. So I would definitely, I would hug her. I would hug her tightly. And I would give so much positive affirmations and speak life. Just remind her that she has grace and that she has more in herself than what she's.
That is
I
amazing. You did thoroughly, thoroughly. And you have me thinking about like younger me. And literally, that is what I tell my sisters all the time. Like, you are okay. I know it seems like it's the end of the world. I know it does. And I promise you, it probably does feel like it. But you are okay. And that's what I wish I would tell myself as well. Like, you're okay. You're okay.
Yes, yeah.
And I just wanted to say, I think that younger Joyce is looking at you right now and she's so proud of you. So I'm like, go Joyce! Oh my God, think of how excited, how happy she is of you and how excited she probably is to have gotten, to be able to get to where you are now. Like, she worked for this. She did. Oh my
Worth it.
gosh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's so proud of you. And I'm so excited because I know right now, like 30-year-old Joyce is so proud of you right now. And you're so proud of 30-year-old Joyce because you're going to be like, how'd you do that, sis?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yep. Yep. That's what I try to remind myself. Like, everything I'm doing now is so that like a me of a later can be like, yeah, you ate.
Yeah, you ate that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know that there's a big Fikayo somewhere in another timeline maybe, but she's coming, But and I have to work to get there. So I'm so happy that you're doing the work to get to Big Joyce, whatever she looks like, wherever she is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thanks for that. Yes.
Well done, good job, Miss Mamas. Okay. Last question, but this isn't even really like it's like a side question. But I've been asking you all the questions. I like to give my guests the opportunity to ask me a question. Yeah.
Yes. No. Oh my gosh, Kyle. I do have a question.
Okay.
And it's really surrounding your podcast, but how did at the table, like a seat at the table, begin? Like, for you,
Yeah.
as in, like, not like obviously the technical aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but how did this come about for you in your mind? When did you know that this is what you wanted to do? A seat at the table.
So interesting. I've wanted to do a podcast for maybe 3-4 years before I actually started this one. And I just knew like this was my destiny. I don't know how to explain it, but I knew that there was a tie somewhere to me podcasting. So I actually had 2 podcasts before this one. There was like Sister in Faith, and then there was Soft Light. And it just didn't feel right. And I don't know why. And also maybe because like I was going through a lot during that time and I just wasn't who I needed to be able to show up to this podcast consistently. I'm not saying that well, to be honest, now I'm better her, but I just wasn't that girl. And also like just things didn't line up. Like my life wasn't a bit settled. I didn't know what I was doing. And it just also the name wasn't right. Like I just knew those names weren't right. Like they were not what I was trying to put out into the world. So when again, this exact time last year, God was Godding and he was scratching at my soul. Like, you know, this thing you're supposed to be doing, right? You know, you're supposed to be putting this stuff out, right? You know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I know. And then God is so interesting in that, like, he'll nudge you, but after a while, he'll start shaking you.
No, what? Yeah.
Yes. So there was a time like I would get anxiety off of knowing that I should have started this thing and I'm not doing it. Like it just felt like a betrayal to myself. Like, you know, you're supposed to be doing this thing and on a spiritual level, like, you know, you're supposed to be doing this thing and you're not doing it. You're failing. Like you're betraying your own self. This isn't right. Like, and I was like making up all the excuses, and you touched on this so well earlier, but I was making up all the excuses, like, it's not going to be good. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. But it was like, to get to 100, you need to do 1. And to get to 100, you need to do 2. And you need to do 3 and 4 and 5. And then incrementally each time, it will keep getting better. That's none of your business. You just do what I tell you to do. And then even at that time, I remember God telling me, like, I knew I wanted to do big things in this world. But he was like, a little tiny podcast, I'm telling you to start. You can't even start it. You want me to give you the world? You're playing. You're playing. And I just knew that the skills that God needed me to learn, even outside of school, like discipline, consistency, showing up, doing it scared, Nikeing it, all those skills was in my podcast experience. So asking people to do podcasts with me, even though I'm scared shitless, or getting like denies, people saying no, they don't want to do it. You know, things like that. Like, these are all lessons that I have to learn. Learning leadership, because that's what I'm learning through this podcast as well. Learning how to be an entrepreneur, because there's a back end to this podcasting stuff that you need to figure out. Buying expensive, all these things. But all that to say, essentially, first off, it was definitely a God ordained thing. I think this is definitely a part of my purpose. It's a part of my destiny. And in order for God to stop shaking me, I had to just get the ball rolling, because he was throwing earthquakes in me. And this is my baby now, and I love it so much. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. And I really want to go back to what you said. Like, I want, like, making excuses, but he just wants you to start.
Right.
Like, I relate to that so heavy, because even me, myself, I be feeling at times like I want to do things and I want to get started. That's why I actually got questioned, like, the whole starting process of an idea, and then wanted to push it out on there. I'm glad you even gave me an opportunity, because I'm going to actually this on the side. But we just love to see it. But nah, that even just spoke to me, like, just starting from somewhere. Because how can he give you the world when he just wants you to start with that little world thing, that little seed?
Yeah. That
Grow,
literally,
so.
little seed. And I love the story of life. And I love even looking at your story too. Like, look at you, was just a seed. Now you're a freaking tree. You're a tree dropping off little seeds to different people, giving different people fruit. Amazing. Amazing. And like all of us, we all can be fruit. We all can be trees that produce good fruit. We have to allow ourselves to grow. Yeah. So proud of you, Joyce. You have no idea. I'm so excited to watch you grow. You will be on this podcast again. I'm booking you now for forever. You will be back. We will follow your story. You'll be here to encourage many, many, many other young people who are just trying to figure it out, because we are all just trying to figure it out. Thank you, baby.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Do you want people to follow you? Where do you want us to support you? Where do you want us to be? Just tell us now.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram. My name is Forever Joyce. The O's are zeros. And you can follow my Miss Congo USA account to see more events from me, fundraisers, things are on the way. You can support me at the Miss Congo USA. A. Thank you.
And we will be doing that. And
Yeah.
when you start putting out your book, oh, go ahead. Oh, whoop, go ahead.
So sorry. My YouTube is Joyce Kasiama. First and last name. You can subscribe to my channel. You can see more content behind the scenes of a lot of things I do. More vlogs, everything on the way.
Yep. And when she puts out a book, we're gonna put out her book too. We're gonna showcase that. So we got you, baby. We got you. At the table is your table. You got this. We are rooting for you. We are rooting for you.
Thank you so much for giving me a seat at this table. I'm so
You
grateful.
are welcome. Thank you, baby. Okay. All right.